Fear the silence where there should be sound. The next thing to make noise will kill you. Do any of you work the night shift? I don't mean 5 to 12, I mean 12 to 7 AM. Well, I work night security at a strip mall. The area I live in is pretty nice, but at night it feels like a different city. I'll admit that I grew up a little sheltered, not prepared for a truly dangerous situation, but I've grown good common sense over the years. I got a security job at the local strip mall 6 months ago. It's out in Waterloo, New York. It's pretty damn big, so after closing, there are 7 security guards set up all over the property. We are decently armed: nightstick, taser, and pepper spray. So with all that, I never thought I'd be in any danger working there. The most you'll have to deal with is dope dealers and stupid teens, Henry, the senior guard, told me on my 6th day. Hell, in 6 months we've only had 8 incidents. The worst was a coke dealer pulling a knife on Jen, but it only took 3 of us to take him down. But anyways, about 2 weeks ago, the spring rush was in full swing. Most of our nights were spent reminding shoppers that the stores were closed. All 7 of us are pretty close, so it hit us hard last Sunday when Wesley's mother died. For the next few days before the funeral, we were down to 3 security officers: Henry, Jen, and I. The rest were with Wesley at his parents' house, helping out. It felt really weird not being able to run 4 stores down to meet up with another guard. I was tasked with guarding the whole section on the same side as the food court. It was so lonely, but I had one thing to keep me company: the loudspeaker music. Now I don't exactly know why, but ever since I've worked here, we were told to leave on the music 24/7. It's a non-stop loop of the Billboard Top 35. They update the disc every month. Now, I used to hate radio music, but I've grown to really like it. They're just really fun. So, when I was forced to work alone, I leaned on the music more than ever. Silence is a bad sign at my work, and this was very true this past Friday. It was 11:30. Jen was on the other side of the complex. Henry was checking the perimeter, and I was walking around the night store. I was badly singing along to Budapest as I tried on shoes. Right before the song ended, I heard it. Nothing. I heard nothing. No music, nothing. Before I thought the worst, I thought that something had gone wrong with the tech system. Henry radioed me, asking if everything was all right. Yeah, I think something might have happened to the PA system. I'll radio back if I need anything. The rain was hitting hard as I ran to the food court. The PA tech system is inside an office within the food court. As soon as I entered the food court, I knew something was off. I've sat in that same room hundreds of times in 6 months, so I knew when the soda machine had been moved. Hello? I made sure my voice didn't crack. After a good 15 minutes of silence, I ran to the office. The door was wide open. It had been kicked in. I pulled out my taser as I entered the office. The whole PA system was completely smashed, but nothing else was touched. The silence was getting to me. Henry, Jen, I need you guys here now. Someone broke into the food court. Get here now. I was panicking. I sat in the computer chair, back against the office wall, until they both got there 5 minutes later. We walked around my section, but couldn't find a thing. Once we got back to the food court, Jen slapped her head. Dom, please tell me you checked the security footage. Shit. I was too scared earlier that I completely forgot the security office was right across from the tech office. I shook my head. All three of us marched into the security office and rewound the food court footage. At 11:28, the doors to the food court opened. A man wearing a blue suit shuffled in. I thought that he was trying to be silent, but the guy kept moving like that. The man was bald. His skin had a really odd grey hue, but he kept his face towards the ground. The man moved towards the back, but tripped over one of the tables, falling into the soda machine. That's when we got to look at their face. The man was wearing a mask. A giant, almost comical nose. Eyes that were pure black holes, and his mouth was filled with small spears for teeth. Almost as if he knew that his mask got caught, he threw his left hand in front of it. His hand was huge, like a baseball glove. He also had really long nails. They looked like they were filed to a point. But anyway, the man shuffled over to the back office, smashed his shoulder against the door until it broke, and disappeared into the office. Once he left, it was only 11:32, only 20 seconds before I entered the food court. He ran out the back door. I was excited. We should have been able to find this guy quickly. But I remembered that it was already 11:45. He had enough time to get to the other side of the complex. Alright, I checked the other cameras. He must have known where to go because I haven't gotten anything. Let's check the whole complex together. No splitting up, Jen ordered. A few minutes later, all three of us were checking the stores on my side. We got to the Adidas store when we all heard it. The music started up again. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest, and Jen screamed. Henry put his hands on our shoulders and said, "Shut up. I need you two to stay right here. I'll radio back as soon as I get to the office." "Should we call the cops?" I asked. "It's one guy. I'll call them as soon as we catch him. I don't want to be bitched at by Carol," he responded before he ran off. While we waited for Henry to radio in, Jen and I checked the rest of the Adidas store. "Dom, get over here!" Jen screamed as I was looking behind the counter. She brought me back to the dressing room. I had no idea what was going on until she turned my head towards the mirrors at the end of the hallway. "Banished to hell, clawed my way back to earth," was painted in gold paint on the mirror. "Hey Henry, we need you back here. Some weird shit is going on," I radioed to Henry. Yeah, I know. The PA system is still smashed. There is no way the music should be playing right now." As soon as he said that, we all heard a loud smash coming from the island stores. In the middle of the complex, and the huge parking lot, we have a Zoomies and H&M set up. Henry told us to head over there with our tasers at the ready, He still needed to check the bathrooms. On our way, I thought I saw something move behind one of the food trucks we have sitting in the parking lot. I tried to get Jen to wait for me, but she told me that she'd meet me at Zoomies. I could hear a strange clicking noise coming from the truck, which got louder as I approached. As soon as I opened the back doors, I could have sworn I saw a figure in the front seat, but it vanished as I got into the truck. "Hey, nobody is in the food truck. I'll be at Zoomies in a few minutes," I radioed to the others. But before I left the truck, I saw something shiny under the radio. The truck seemed to shift as I knelt down. I put my hand in the dark compartment and felt something. I gripped it and I pulled it out. It was a fucking finger with a ring on it. It was caked in dried blood. I swallowed vomit as I turned around, still staring at the finger. "I can make you pure." I snapped my head up. The man was standing in front of me. I dropped the finger, reached for my taser, but the man quickly got to me. His meaty hands were wrapped around my throat. "God can't help you escape hell, but I can show you," he whispered. It sounded like he had a voice changer in his mask. Now here's where shit turns crazy. And I know I'm gonna get skeptics, but please believe me. Behind the masked man was this horrible face. It looked like someone morphed a horse's head with a human's. But in the middle of the forehead was this weird mark branded into the skin. It was a triangle with an X in the middle. My radio squawked. I heard Henry's voice saying, "Dom, are you?" But before he finished, the masked man grabbed the back of my head. The last thing I saw was my face heading towards the food truck's counter. I was out. But I didn't black out. I was dreaming. I dreamt that I was strapped down to a chair. I was in what looked like a freezer, but it wasn't cold. In fact, I was still wearing my security uniform. After a few seconds of screaming for help, the freezer door opened. Out of the pitch black, the horseman walked in. He was wearing a yellow radioactive suit, but his face was completely uncovered. He was holding a rod in his hand with that triangle brand on the end of it. "I can make you pure," the thing would say. It had a screeching, nails on the chalkboard voice. The thing would roll up my sleeve and smash the brand onto my arm. I would feel searing pain, but the dream would quickly loop back to the beginning of the dream as soon as I felt it. It looped a good 6 times before I woke up. Once I actually woke up, I was in a hospital bed. But not in some dungeon or a freezer, in a hospital. Henry and my parents sat next to me. He already knew that I had questions, so Henry answered them before I even asked. "It's Saturday night, buddy. Jen told me she hadn't seen you since you went to the food truck, so I ran over there. You're lucky, because I caught that psycho holding you over his shoulder, running behind the complex. I got pretty close, but he threw you at me before I was in taser range. He didn't just toss you though, he chucked you. I saw him claw at his face and his mask fell off. I was too busy making sure you were okay before I could catch the guy. I got a look at the mask though. It must have been glued to his face. It even had a bald cap, but guess what was inside? I sat up in the hospital bed. A voice changer? Henry looked surprised. Yeah, actually. My father interjected. Alright, keep all this stuff fresh in your head. The police want to talk to you. The police said that they would try and find the guy. His hands would make it easy. I got released from hospital Sunday afternoon, just in time for Wesley's mum's funeral. I'm taking some time off from work. The mall is giving me a month off, with $150 every Saturday. They even told me that they'd pay me $20 an hour once I got back. I was getting paid $14 an hour before, to pay back the hero debt. But since then, life has been relatively normal. I did have the dream again Monday night, but I felt weird telling anyone. Everything was sort of normal. But it got bad again Tuesday morning. I was at a gas station buying some snacks when a man with a large black pea coat came out of the bathroom. He came over to me in the aisle and started a conversation. "What's your favourite kind of beef jerky?" the man said. He had an average face, except his jaw was razor sharp and his hair was pretty long, but he looked normal. Usually the Jack Link's teriyaki bites, but they're really expensive," I said, holding up the bag. The man slowly walked towards me and nodded at another off-brand teriyaki jerky bag. "Try those. They're pretty damn delicious." "Alright, I will." "Are you from the south? Your accent is pretty strong." The man looked at me inquisitively. "Yes, actually. Louisiana, to be exact. I'm just here to visit a friend of mine. I'm leaving today, though. I got some friends out west that I want to visit." "Oh, do you travel a lot?" A grin grew over his face. "Sort of." I was about to ask him what he meant, but he interrupted. "It's been nice talking to you, but I gotta head out. I work on a tight schedule." The man turned around and walked towards the exit before I even said goodbye. But right before he left the store, I looked down at the boots he was wearing. A white triangle with an X inside was painted on the back of each boot. My heart started pumping out of my chest as I sprinted towards the bathroom. 10 sharp nails were scattered all over the sink. They had been clipped. I ran back outside just in time to see the man pull away in a white Matador. No license plates. I immediately called 911, told them the situation, and gave them the description of the car. That was around 11 Tuesday morning. I've heard that news stations are giving descriptions of the man and the car, but nothing has come up since then. I truly wish that I could help whomever he is going to meet next. But I feel this selfish relief that the man is away from me. I just hope he took his abomination with him.